Good day, everyone. My name is Michael Sanka Ansah, a third-year PhD student in Towns Polytechnic University. Today, I'm going to talk on the topic, the development of teaching aids for nuclear power plant course, integrating blended learning formats. I'm doing this together with my colleague, Paul Atta Amor. The supervisor for this particular report is Professor Stepanov Boris Pavlovich. Going straight to the content of the presentation, we will have some little introduction, course planner for nuclear power plants, challenges in using blended learning for nuclear power plant course, and then we'll talk about conclusion and then some few references. Teaching aids are basically materials used to assist a teacher to facilitate teaching and then the learning process. Developing a teaching aids makes the teacher come out with good content, setting appropriate and achievable goals, and also helps the teacher to plan a good delivery method and evaluation for the learners. Blended learning refers to a combination of traditional methods of teaching, such as the face-to-face classroom and online learning strategies in a perfect synchronization to enhance teaching and learning process. The main focus of blended learning model is to give the teachers and then the learners more freedom to adapt to a more comfortable way of learning. Blended learning for science and engineering. We are going to look at how we can use blended learning for teaching nuclear power plant course, which is a master's program. So in blended learning, the instructor makes available all materials out of class time. So students are able to go through the material at their own pace and time. Students can also build discussions and do assignments online before the class. Teaching aids such as videos, pictures, and field trips are the most popular ones which are being used for blended learning in the sciences and then engineering. And this is very necessary because it helps to economize the time spent in the class. So we are going to discuss about a course planner and then a course overview for nuclear power plants, which is a master's course. Before doing that, the course planner is very necessary because it helps students and then the teachers to understand what they are striving for or what they are working towards. A course planner can play a major role when developing a course syllabus. It helps to visualize the objectives, goals, and assessments of the course. So in this particular report, we were able to design a course planner, which I would show very soon, I think in my next slides. So here we can see a course planner which has been developed for nuclear power plant course. In the first column, it has 3 columns. In the first column, we see the main objectives of the course. And then in the middle column, we have the goals for each and every objective. And then we have some different forms of assessment which can be used for the course. In the first column where we have the objectives, the first objective there is to understand the sources of energy and their contribution to energy and power needs of the nation and the world at large. And then we also have to understand the energy conversion systems for nuclear power plants, their advantages and disadvantages. Okay, so in the middle column where we talk about the goals, there are a lot of goals which were listed for this particular course. To fully understand magnitudes of energy produced by uranium and remember the resources used. Okay, so on the second objective, we have different goals for it as well. And one of them is to appreciate the process through which uranium is being used to produce energy. In the last column, we have different forms of assessments for this particular course. So we have in-class discussions. There are a group of problems which are being solved in textbooks, and then they can have group discussions as forms of assessments. Presentations are also used as form of assessment for this particular course. So after getting a clear overview of the course plan, we can now go ahead to design the course itself. So here is an overview of the design nuclear power plant course, including blended learning. Here we consider lectures, we consider practical hours, we considered laboratory works, and then self-study, and all has a number of hours in which must be used for this particular course. On the second row of this particular table, we get to understand and know the topics which will be used or discussed during the whole course. And we considered some other ones which can be done as blended learning. So these things we consider for blended learning. We have heat efficiency properties, and these things comes with softwares which students can use online in order to learn more about the course. There are lectures which will be done face to face and others which will be done online. Apart from that, we look at forms of assessment. The forms of assessment can be quiz and then face-to-face defense of works or assignments. And then how do teachers assess students? In doing this, the teacher can conduct regular testing, which will let him know the strength of the students. Okay, so after being able to design the course overview, we can now talk about some few challenges which comes up when we are talking about blended learning for science and engineering, especially for nuclear power plants. Blended learning makes use of a lot of technical resources which must be made readily available. Sometimes this becomes a challenge for some schools or universities to get access to all these necessary technical resources. And then the lack of social interactions. Therefore, it is necessary to balance blended learning with the traditional form of teaching. In conclusion, developing blended learning courses for nuclear power plants will increase student access to course materials and make them spend more time with the course content. It helps students to increase their social interactions since students must come together to do some forms of assessments or assignments together. And then the last form of it is to make plans for an excursion to a nuclear related facility in which the students will get a real-time experience with how nuclear power is generated and how things are being operated at the nuclear power plants or nuclear power facilities. Thank you very much for your time. These are a few references which was used for the whole work, and thank you.